Good morning, St. Croix. Good morning, the rest of the planet. If the rest of the planet will watch this.
I'm going to affirm that everybody that needs to watch this, wherever you are in the universe and the planet, and on St. Croix, gets to see it. How about that?
That sounds good. This is Carpool Convos with Liz
And Deb.
And welcome. It's a beautiful sunshiny day. Breeze. This is Caribbean winter. We still have shorts and sandals on.
I'm sorry. She said winter and Caribbean in the same sentence, which sounds a little oxymoronic to me. But,
well,
hey, in your sensibilities, it makes sense, right. So it's all good, right?
Yes, if you come from stateside, you gotta have winter. We don't really have winter.
We do not.
We have...
In my mind, there is no winter, fall, spring, or summer here.
We have festival season.
That's definitely right.
Right.
We're in the midst of that.
We have festival season. We have summer, and we have tourist season. Oh, hurricane season, which kind of overlaps with some of them.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
for me, it's rainy season and dry season. Right?
Have we had dry season?
And there's holiday seasons. I think this is what we're in now. Now that hurricane and rainy season to me are sort of together.
Together. Okay.
Maybe the same thing. I don't know. But dry season is what it is for me when it's not rainy season.
Which lately has just been 1 or 2 days in between the rain.
Well, do you know what? For this past week, I noticed it was quite dry.
True.
You know, and I'm hoping, I'm speaking it into being that dry season doesn't mean dry. It means rain, and then you dry up, and then you rain again, and you dry up, because I like the rain. I need the rain to be, as you know, in there with the sun.
Okay. So
yeah.
So we're
still trying to work this camera situation here so that half our heads aren't cut off. Or
as long as it's my good side.
Well, that's all sides. You know what I mean?
So it's my turn to pick a topic.
It is.
And I got started this morning, so I will repeat some of what I said because my bestie here said it was profound, so I will share.
Listen, if I had been on point, I would have been not a morning person yet again. I would have just put that camera right on, because what Liz was saying was really food, not just food for thought provoking, but also deep.
So what I was telling Debbie was every day coming home from the job that I will have through the 13th of December, I drive home on what we refer to as Hess Road, and it leads to an oil refinery, a shuttered oil refinery that at one point in time was the largest oil refinery in the world. And it's been shuttered for 4 years now, 3 years now. This last time, something like that.
I thought they were doing something else with it now, but I'm not sure.
But they built a man camp, what they refer to as a man camp, for all the employees that they brought over, contractors that they brought over from the States. Some able to house around 3,000 people. It's a lot of people. And a lot of stateside-ers on our island. It's a slew of trailers that they have air conditioning and bathrooms. There's a store, there's a bar, there's a restaurant, whole 9 yards. Well, it's been shuttered, which seems like a horrible waste to me. And it's grown over, because if you leave anything here and don't pay attention, Mother Nature takes it back. As well she should. And so I see this every day. And then on the other side of the road, up a little ways, are the remnants of a sugar mill. I don't know how many, there are dozens of them on island. At one point, this was a big sugar cane producing area. And it's grown over. Beautiful. The man camp's ugly. The sugar mills are beautiful, but what struck me about it was both of them, to me, represent remnants of colonialism. Things just left behind as the colonizers left. I don't know, it was distressing to me and profound when I realized that the ugly trailers were also part of that. So we still do it. And then I got to thinking about working and employment and remembering the what would it be, a saying? Working for the man. It was a thing that was often a joke. If memes were a thing in the 1970s, that'd have been a meme. Working for the man. But what I realized is we all work for the man. All of us.
What does working for the man mean? What did it represent? That was said in the 70s.
Oh, in the 70s, the idea was working for white men. Right?
Well, I took it as working for the establishment.
Or the establishment.
Which is white
True.
men.
White men.
Primarily.
Well,
yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. And
wealthy white men.
Wealthy white men.
Put that in there too.
And very few wealthy white men, because there's some wealthy white men who also work for the man. I don't think they think that, but the rest of us who have everyday jobs and work for someone else, and it's part of our culture. Particularly, I'm thinking of mainland culture, which bleeds over here. And the idea that we have to work, you work all your life to make sure that you've got food, clothing, and shelter. But then there's also the advertisement, the want to and the need to have a nicer car, have nicer clothes, be able to buy the stuff that you want. And it's gotten, for me, I feel like many of us caught up in this, so we're scrambling, always working. We're not present with our families. We're not able to be present in our lives with our friends due to this need that has been fed to us, I don't know, since I was a little kid. Yeah.
So status becomes a part of what you're actually working or keeping a job for, right? The things that will somehow make you feel like you live an elevated life, right? But unfortunately, that also means that you've got to have something underneath for you to feel elevated.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say? And it's not so much like, I'm getting myself out of, so it goes beyond I'm getting myself out of this situation that feels desperate.
Yeah.
Right? To now I want to feel bigger, important. I want to have things that say that I am no longer where I was before. And that somehow means that you're constantly chasing something that you can't catch.
Ever. I don't think. There'll always be, it's always more.
If you're looking outside of yourself for that validation or that sense of status, then yes, there's always going to, the bar continues to be raised a little higher. Well, yeah, you've got that now. Okay, but if you had this, you would be so much more.
Yeah.
Instead of when you look within, what do I really need so that I feel like the most of my best self, right? What could that possibly be? I'd say love, right? And by that I mean self-love first.
Self-love first, yes.
What else? What else would you think? From the inside out.
From the inside out. An understanding of that self that you love.
So self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Okay. Let's see, what else? I'd say joy.
Yeah, that's where we started today.
That's where we started today, yeah. An understanding of what brings you joy, or what evokes the feeling of joy, right? Not to get back to the, if I had this thing, I'd feel joy. No, you might feel happy, but it's temporary, and it's based on something other than what you already have. And you already have everything that you need, I believe.
I do too.
Yeah. It's the finding that out, for me, that is challenging. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you didn't cut me off. Yeah, it is finding it out. And I guess I'm just finding this out.
That's fabulous.
It's the layers of understanding. Maybe I was going to say they're building up, but I think they're peeling back is what's happening.
Nice.
The layers of understanding. I'm like, oh, okay.
You also, I think, to add to the list, you also have to feel free.
Yes.
To do that.
Oh, and I was thinking, this is what started this morning. I was thinking of the Bob Marley song. Oh, God. I think it's from One Love. Only you can free yourself from mental slavery.
Okay, so that's in Redemption Song.
Redemption Song.
And it's emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I would say I would add body and spirit to that as well. You know, Bob Marley was an amazing teacher and student of life, I think. And so much of what he put into music was so profound and so touched the inside. You know, which is something that I look for in music. I love music. It's always a part of my life. There's a soundtrack going in my head all the time. No, I'm not schizophrenic as far as I know. But there's always some beautiful music that, some piece of music that is helping me to feel centered and to smile.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I do feel like we need that sense of freedom in order to be able to have those other things that we mentioned, which I'm going to try to name again so that I don't forget, because I want to write it in our description, which is love,
self-awareness,
joy, freedom. Yeah. And these are all things that can't be bought, that it doesn't matter the size of your home or the size of your wallet or the size or the position that you hold in a particular company, or even if you work for the man or not. These are things, precious things that have infinite, unlimited value that cannot be bought or sold.
Yeah, priceless.
Yeah, infinite.
Absolutely.
Eternal, unlimited, limitless value, right? And all of them are within. All of them we already have, if we can peel back the layers, as Liz said, to recognize them and to live with them on full display.
Ooh, yes. Yeah, and it's not easy, but it is available to all of us, regardless of where you start from. That part.
Yeah.
And it's hard for those of us who have lived a life, for the most part, of privilege. There's a guilt piece that I often struggle with. But what I realize is it's available to the homeless guy that sits on the corner. Harder to find, but it's available. I
am happy that it's still a work in progress, are getting to the point where I recognize that I need less and less to feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
And as we get closer to another revolution, the end of another revolution around the sun, for us, these thoughts are definitely ones where I can say, okay, in this past year, I've learned this about myself, or I am ready to release this from my experience so I can make room for this. And that could be done any day, every day, because you're constantly changing every single day. The cells in your body are regenerating. That big, beautiful brain in your head is learning something, moving something around. It's every single day. And these are the kinds of things, I think, that bring us closer to knowing the joy that lives inside of us.
I agree. And it's holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
It's holiday season for everybody around the world. This is, I think, for those of us in the Western world, this may be more compact, but everybody's celebrating something. And
might not be the same thing.
No, it doesn't have to be the same thing.
Exactly. And it's not about a particular religion.
Nope.
Or a faith-based belief. It's more about the celebration of it, because it's also carnival season here and festival season here.
Yeah.
So, in keeping with the look within joy vibe that we started out with, celebrate you. Look inside and find something. Pick something, rather, because there's a lot of stuff to be found. But pick something that you can celebrate and just bask in it, I say.
I absolutely agree. Find the joy. And if you're in the midst of sorrow over, or that the holiday seasons they feel heavy for you, I encourage you to look up. And when I say that, I don't mean I do mean to the heavens, but notice the sky. Notice the stars in the evening, the shape of the clouds, the color of the sky. I moved here from California. We also didn't have winter where I lived, but the sky turns a different shade of blue during the fall and winter season. It's just a different shade. But notice what's around you. Look outside yourself to recognize if you're in the midst of sorrow, that it won't be that way all the time, that your moods fluctuate, that feelings come and go if you will let them. Doesn't mean that sorrow won't last for a while, but notice the other things you feel. Find some joy. My joy today, being with Debbie, and then we're going to go see Wicked tomorrow.
Excitement!
I know, because this is our birthday month. Not only do we share the same birthday month, we share the same birth date.
Isn't that something?
I know.
Yeah.
We found that out first. We used to work together. First year we worked together, it was about a Christmas party, and I said they were going to have it on our birthday, and I said, well, only if you can have chocolate cake for me. And Debbie's like, what? Then we found out we share the same birthday. Anyway, we ended up not doing it on that day. But yeah, so today we're beginning our celebration for our birthday. Yeah.
And I celebrate the whole month from the day to the next month that day. So I am all good. And this has been a season of grief for me, and it still is. So if you also have grief in your life right now, I heard something this week that was so profound, and I loved it so much that I'm inspired to share it with you all. And forgive me, the person who said it, if I am totally going to screw it up because I can't remember it exactly, but I will put the exact quote in the description so you will have it. But what it boils down to is we don't feel grief. I'm messing it up already. We only feel grief for things, people, beings that we love. So grief and love somehow are connected. You know, you feel grief for the things you love or loved. And so that was not a thought that brought sadness to me. That made me happy, because when I thought, when I processed it in my head, I was like, yes, there is nothing that I am feeling grief for in this year, and there have been more than usual things for me to be, in grief about. Every one of those things I felt real, or people or experiences I felt really strongly about. I felt love at one time or another. It might have been mixed in with some other stuff that wasn't as positive, but there was definitely love there. So reach for the loving part. And the part that says that change is a constant, the only constant in our lives, and doesn't mean the end. It could be a new beginning. It could be a rebirth, a regeneration, just a change. So I want to, leave you with that, because celebrate. Another thing to celebrate. So you celebrate you, and you celebrate the fact that you are a whole big, beautiful ball of things to feel and experience, and to let go so you can grow.
Amen.
Enjoy the day.
Yes.
Many blessings.